Yo, what's up guys? With the 1.0 full release of SCUM, the game just had a complete wipe across all servers. That means whether you're a brand new player or a seasoned veteran, we're all starting from scratch with a fresh character. So it is important that you know how to get all your skills up fast again. Let's go. And guys, we're gonna freestyle this video, so this time no script, I'm gonna basically freely talk. With the character creation, if you are a new player, leave everything over here on 3333. I'm gonna explain in a second why. If you are a existing player and you know what you're doing, you can do this. Intelligence up to 5, Constitution up to 1. The reason for that is Constitution is the easiest thing to level because basically as long as you're moving it will go up. It's like super fast to level up. And the good thing about Intelligence 5 is, first of all, it's the only skill, the only category skill, you can't level by just doing stuff. You need to go to the bunkers and find those chips, load them up and then insert them into your brain, which is a lot of work and it's very hard. And the second thing is, this will increase every XP gain. So in the beginning you will be slowed down a little bit, but at the end you will be way faster doing everything. Now for the new players, obviously every regular task and the PvP and the combat with the PvE is gonna be new to you. You need to learn a lot of stuff. Where shit is, you're gonna walk around a lot of time, right? So you want to be maybe a little bit faster, and with Constitution we can level the running skill. Let's put it like this. For those skills, brawling in my opinion is not useful at all. It's a fun skill, but you don't need it, right? The only thing we want to level over here in my opinion is melee weapons, because that's useful but you don't want to level because it takes a lot of time. Rifles, handguns and archery are super easy to level, and we're gonna see that later, so this is my pick of the choice. So over here, like I said, if you are a new player you pump up running all the way, because the only thing endurance does is it will recover stamina faster and it will gain, or it will consume less food and water. Running though influences how fast you can run and how much stamina you're draining. So instead of, let's say, 2 minutes, you can run additional 20 seconds. The recovery on the other hand will only give you 5 seconds faster charge back for the stamina, and also like I said, you run faster up to, I think it's 20%. It's pretty good. So running is the only viable option over here. For the dexterity skills, thievery takes a lot of time to level up, so that's also the choice what you want to do. Driving, motorcycling, aviation is basically doing it by itself when you're driving those vehicles. And demolition can be learned or skilled by just crafting a lot of bombs, which is easier than putting a lot of time into thievery, in my opinion at least. Stealth also just as a time consuming thing. For the intelligence skills, awareness easy to level, sniping easy to level, but they're basically all easy to level. The only thing you want to do over here is maybe medical, because leveling that up very fast is cost intensive. And then sniping and camouflage are time intensive. Where I need to say though, camouflage, I would go for camouflage because sniping is fun to level, camouflage is a AFK skill to level. So with this build, we're gonna create the character. So talking about the wasted skill. Obviously in the strength category we got archery, rifles and handguns. Archery is basically being leveled while you play the game, shooting down puppets with your bow, and by the time you will have a good bow, your archery skill will be up already. It's very easy, you get a lot of XP by killing those puppets. For the rifles and handguns, I can suggest you to use the event mode. Over there you can basically freely play against your friends and get XP for free. If you can't do that, or you don't want to do that, you can also just go out in the open and shoot puppets down with a rifle or a handgun. And obviously also if you do rifles, there's a little trick. If you use the ASRock, you can also level sniping skill at the same time you're leveling rifle skills. And it also is pretty cheap because the MP5, which you can put the ASRock on, only uses 9mm ammunition, which is pretty common and also pretty cheap. For the Constitution, there's not much to say. You basically always level it while you're walking. For the endurance, what you need to do is you put a lot of weight into your bag and walk around with that, and will level faster. Now for dexterity. Like I said, thievery is what you want to go for in the character designing. So we need to level demolition. Demolition you can level by crafting, for example, blast caps. You can buy the materials or just harvest for them, and then whenever you have a bunch of them, craft those things. If you have a friend in your group, you can also tell him to place down bombs and then you defuse them. That gives you a lot of XP. And if you're a solo, you can also use the defuse bomb practice board, which you can craft pretty easily. and then just play the little mini game over and over again. This is just time intensive. For stealth, all you need to do is go around the area, sneak or crawl. It doesn't matter where you do that, but I suggest you do that in an area where there's not much puppets or players or NPCs. When it comes to the driving skills, car driving, motorcycling and aviation basically is being leveled while you do those things, but there is not much to do about that because obviously if you drive you get XP, if you don't, you don't. Now for all the intelligence skills, and this is the biggest part. Awareness you can level if you just look at a lot of items. So for example, if you go and loot some areas and you open bags and there's loot in that you don't want, just also put it out of the bag or the box or whatever it is in, and you will get XP for that. If you want to force level awareness, there's a little trick. If you make a lot of small sticks out of bushes, they at first also appear as a new item and give you XP, but then if you are playing on a server, that doesn't work in single player obviously, if you play on a server, you just relog over and over and over again. Every time you relog, those sticks are being re-rendered for you and every stick gives you more XP, goes up like super fast. That's why you don't need to level it in the character creation. For the camouflage, it's basically the same as for the sneaking. All you need to do is lay in grass for this one. This is the slower method, basically just consuming your time. Another method is you go to a bush and you just lay down and stand up again. This is a little bit faster, but obviously you also need to press your 2 keys all the time, which is pretty annoying. So I guess just laying around in the grass is the easiest thing to do here. For the cooking, honestly, I have no clue, just cook a lot of food. So what you want to do for the medical skill is, if you haven't leveled it in your character creation, you go to the south area, you start looking for those aloe vera plants and collect the leaves. And then you go next to a river because you need some fresh water, you need some bottles and a blunt weapon. I use the wooden club over here because it's like super cheap. And then you start crafting the burn gel, which will give you a good amount of XP every time you craft it. The sniping we've already covered with the MP, where you use the ASRock and snipe down NPCs, zombies, or like I said, you go to the PvP arena, like the event mode, and do a sniping battle over there. Now we're just left with 2 more skills. Farming, pretty easy as well. All you need to do is build a very big garden and then wait for weeds to grow. And for every single weed plant that you destroy, you get a lot of XP. And if you do that like 2 or 3 times every day you log in, basically you're already at the maximum level. All you need for that is a hoe. And the last skill is engineering, and it's pretty cool and simple as well. You go to areas where you find a lot of scrap, you collect the scrap, and then you go to one of those working stations and you craft the bolts with it. The bolts you need anyways for your base, so this is basically doing 2 things at the same time and you level engineering skill very, very fast. And with all of that said, we're basically at the end of the video. If you like the content and you want to support the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, obviously. And if you have any questions, I have a Discord server. The link is in the description below. You can join, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye bye.